everybody, Lori here from Unique in the Creek, coming to you with a new flower tutorial that I would love to show you guys. I was going to wait and do this after I got back from Wreath Makers Live, but I was just so excited. I thought I'm going to show you guys today, so you can get all your supplies ready and get, because you guys will want to make these, and I'm sure you have supplies already to make these and you just don't even know. What we are calling this is going to be called the Rachel flower. The Rachel flower is made with all ribbons. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down. Okay, and I'm going to show you a new center. This center I made is a burlap center. It's really, really pretty. It does take a while to make. So I did this, of course, sitting in my recliner while I was watching TV yesterday. It's a bit of a mess, but the outcome of it is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to show you how to make this center. I don't have any more of the red burlap, so I'm just going to show you with the natural burlap. So I'm going to show you this, and this is the Rachel flower on a small board. This center, I've created it on a live prior to this tutorial. I glued 1-inch pom-poms, and they have a little bit of a glitter metallic on the pom-poms. And I glued them onto one of these Dollar Tree coconut hats. They're for bikinis. They're at the Dollar Tree, so I've been telling everybody, because I use these for my angel faces as well. These are amazing. They make the perfect center. So you can just glue pom-poms, and that's all I did. I started and I glued just all the way around the coconut. And it also has holes in the sides. So what I did is, once I finished gluing this, I zip tied it just to the board. I didn't even have to glue it. Now you could put glue if you want, but it's on there. This thing is not coming off. And the rest of the flower is done with all ribbons. And I made this in half an hour. It's very, very simple to do. We all have tons of ribbons. I know I do. I'm a ribbon hoarder, and I've been trying to think of ways to use more of my ribbon than mesh, because right now mesh is a bit scarce, especially poly burlap. And I like, because our boards are so versatile, you can use anything on these. So you've seen me use greenery, you've seen me use tablecloths, I've done pretty much everything on these boards. And I did a cross like this with using all ribbons. So now I wanted to introduce you to the Rachel flower. And again, this one is on the small board. And you just hang it up with your hanging hole. And I put a hanger on the back. And you can make whatever center you want. You can mix and match your different ribbons. I just stuck with this one particular ribbon. This used, I wrote it down, this small board, I used 48 pieces of ribbon, and each of my ribbons were 12 inches long. Okay. Tonight we're going to be making one on the large board, because my center that I made is quite large. So you can see it's a little bit too big for this particular flower. But the center for the coconut, coconut thing with the pom-poms, or you can even wrap twine around it. People are just doing all kinds of fantastic things. But now you can start using your ribbons to make some flowers. You just fluff them up. I did spray this. This is a new spray I've come across. I ordered this from Amazon. It is made from Scotchgard, and it is water and sun shield with UV protection. It's not really expensive. I think it was like $12 for this big can. I sprayed the whole wreath already. It dries pretty fast, and it does say it repels rain, snow, and moisture. It helps protect fabric from fading caused by harmful UVA and UVB rays. Did you guys know that? It's long-lasting protection that maintains breathability and feel of fabric and leather. You only need one coat. It dries quickly, and it's clear, and it's odorless when dry. So I had to check it out, and sure enough, it is all these things. And so I have sprayed this wreath. So should you want to put this on a door, you could put this on a door because we've sprayed it. But not only a door, you can put this above a fireplace. I know this particular one would look great because it's a farmhouse. You could hang it on a wall. You can put these anywhere now. I just love it. So, and I have so much ribbon that I'm so excited. And of course, you can do this whole style with any of our boards. So you could do the tree this style. You've seen me do the cross already this style. It's just a lot of fun, and you have a lot more to work with now because there's so much ribbon out there. Okay, I'm just going to put this one aside. Huh? No, why?
They said everybody's doing these now, very popular.
Probably the Unique in the Creek boards. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I made this to begin with, because this looks really good with the flower that, well, with the ribbon I'm going to be using. We are going to be using this black and white check ribbon with a red center. This is going to look fabulous. I know the farmhouse style is so trending right now. It's always been, pardon me, it's always been trending, but this is going to be a really cool when it's put together. So I'm going to show you how I did this burlap. Now, again, I'm not going to make the whole center because this did take me about an hour, a little over an hour yesterday. I think 1.5 episodes of MasterChef, whatever that is. And I sat in the recliner and did this. And it is messy. So what I do is I have a box, just an empty box that I put beside my recliner. And you'll see why I have this empty box. And I put all my scraps in that empty box when I make these. I used to make these a lot for wreath attachments. And when I was thinking about a new center I wanted to make, I remembered these little flowers that I made all the time for when I used to do burlap wreathing a lot. And I thought, well, I'll just do a huge one. And sure enough, it turned out beautiful. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So I like to work, because I'm going to be using hot glue, I do like to work on wax paper because it's cheap and I don't muck up my cutting mat with the hot glue. Yes, you will see me in New Orleans. And I will go through all the ribbon sizes and everything just shortly. I just want to show you guys how I do this burlap center for you. This particular one I used was a 5.5 inch roll. It was just red burlap, and it's like loose weaved burlap. So this one actually is only 4 inches, but I'm just doing a demonstration for you. We get these at our local dollar store. I think it's like $3 a roll, but you can still use 4 inches. It just wouldn't be as, well, I guess it would be, your loopy things won't be as wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll some off here. Yeah, this is a 50-yard roll. I do have exactly how much I used, per like how many feet I used. So I'm just going to cut a piece off. Now when I made this red one, I I think it was a whole roll or 3/4 of a roll because it was already open. So I have a feeling I used it for a few pieces of it for something else. So I'm gonna say probably 3/4 of a roll. So you would want to keep, I'm gonna show you just on a little piece, but you're gonna want to keep the whole roll going the way I'm gonna show you, okay? So you won't want to cut it into a piece like I am. So you're going to get your burlap and you're going to take these end pieces off. Now this is where the box comes in handy. Actually, I'll just use my little one so it's not blocking the camera, because you're going to have a ton of burlap strings, okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be pulling out some strings. Now, when I was doing it with making little flowers, I would cut just pieces like this, and I would just start pulling out from the middle string. I'd pull the whole thing out. Okay, just like that, and you have this string. Now, because I wanted to make a huge flower, I wanted to make a huge flower, I didn't want to cut pieces. I wanted to keep it the whole roll. And I just kind of pulled as I was going. So to do that, what I did is I have these little sheared, little pinking, or I call them my ribbon scissors. They're from Fiskars. They're just little dainty scissors. I love them. I use them for my ribbons. And what you want to do is, when you have the full roll, maybe I'll just start it like right here. Okay, so you'll probably go about 36 inches. And what you want to do is go, Dave, if you can get a close-up of what I'm doing here. I'm not sure, you can't see the picture, so. What you want to do, hold on. So we want to keep these little vertical pieces. Those are what we want to keep because they're connected to the serged edge of the burlap, okay? So we want to keep these long pieces. These ones that are coming horizontally, these are the ones we're going to pull out, okay? So I'm just going to demo a few like this. And this is, and you can make little flowers exactly like this to put on wreath accents as well. You could just use a little piece like this. And you're going to pull all these strings out. That's why I said this is quite messy. And if you have a box, I have a box or a little bucket to put all these strings in. I know it seems like a waste, but the outcome is absolutely gorgeous. So once you get it loose, you can start pulling out 2 at a time. And you're going to pull all these strings out. So you have, it's just going to leave the vertical ones in the roll. And like I said, when you're doing a flower center, you're not going to want to cut your roll. And I'll show you a shortcut, well, not a shortcut, but an easier way, because you can't pull the strings out like I'm doing right now on a full roll. You do have to cut some of the burlap. And I just want to get you a piece so you can see what the outcome is, and then I'll show it on a actual roll and where to cut. Okay, so you can see as I'm pulling these out, we're still having these strands and they are sewn in to the edge of the burlap. Okay, so I leave one string left right in front of the edge of the burlap. So you can see all the sewing here. So these are not going to come undone. Some pieces do come undone, but it's okay because once we finish the center, you can just cut those away. So now I'm just gonna flip it over and do the same thing. We're just gonna keep pulling all these. And that's why I said it's quite messy. It is time consuming, but it's not hard, and it's quite therapeutic when you're sitting watching TV. Anything I do is therapeutic, I think. Crafting is therapeutic. Although my friend told me this morning she thinks I'm obsessed with crafting. I said, well, it could be worse. Could be obsessed with drinking or drugs or, you know. So crafting obsession is not bad. Okay, so we're almost done this piece. And it doesn't matter what size, if you're using a small piece or a whole roll. Yeah, these few pieces near the end, they'll come off, and that's okay. I know you seem to think it's what a waste. It's just another way to make a fun, pretty center. And that's all I wanted to show you. Oh, this one seems to be sewn into the edge here. So there's just so many centers for flowers floating out there. But I've never seen anybody make one of these ones. So I thought I would share it with you guys. And what better than on the new flower I'm going to be debuting. Okay. So we do have a couple little stragglers here, which is not a big deal. Just cut those off. Okay, this is what you have left. Oh, I have one more, couple more strings here. Don't want to pull too much because it seems like some of them are sewn into the seam here. So. Okay, so now we're good. So this is what you have left. Let me move this out of the way. It almost looks like a ladder. So all the strings. So if you need to remember, because sometimes I forget which strings to pull out, just remember you want to pull out the strings that are not attached to the edge of your burlap. So it doesn't matter what size burlap you're using, the burlap will always have a sewn edge. It would fall apart and you wouldn't be able to use it. Okay, so now what you're gonna do, and this is where the hot glue comes in. Get your hot glue. Now I use little fingertip thingies. I buy these at the Dollar Tree because nothing worse than hot glue gun burns, and I put them all through because when I'm doing these I never know what finger I'm going to use, so I might as well protect them all. So what you're going to do is once you got this done, so this, if you do a whole roll, it'll take you about an hour to pull all these strings out. Like I said, mine was a 5.5 inch roll, so it was a little bit more strings to pull out, but it was fine, you know. Like I said, you do it when you have nothing else to do. It is messy, so just beware. You should wear a face mask, like a paper mask, anytime you're using burlap. Like I'm just using it right now and I can feel my chest tightening up. Just even the paper mask from the dollar store will be suffice, because the burlap fibers are they're large particles, so they will, the paper mask will filter out those large particles and avoid getting it in your lungs. It's plastic particles that are, you know, microscopic, and the paper ones won't work for the plastic. So when you're burning your plastic and stuff, you should be wearing a respirator or have it outside. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put a little bit of hot glue just along the edge of this seam. Okay, and you're going to bring this seam and you're going to fold this down. Okay, and that's why I have my little things, and you tap it. Now you don't have to glue all the way across. You just can glue sporadically, just to hold the two edges together. Now this I don't do on my lap. Well, I could if I had my little lap table, but I don't like to use hot glue on my lap because I'm a klutz and I would probably burn, you know, my inner thighs or my lady parts, you know, my luck. So what you can see what I'm doing is I'm just folding it down, putting a little bit of glue on the seam. And for this, you can even use cheap glue. You don't even need the Gorilla Glue, although I only have Gorilla Glue, so. But if you have cheap glue sticks, like even from the dollar store, and you want to save your Gorilla Glue sticks or your industrial glue sticks for something that actually needs it. And you can see why I do this on wax paper, so I don't have the glue gunk all over my cutting mat. And if you don't have little finger things, as you're folding it over, you can just grab your scissors or something, or even a pen, like the pen top, to push it down. Don't use your actual skin on your fingers to push it down, because you just never know where that hot glue is, and we all know hot glue really, really hurts. Okay. I know this is really tedious, but it does make a really pretty center, especially if you're doing like a farmhouse style wreath. And you can get burlap in all different colors. I know Hobby Lobby has all kinds of colors. Now you don't want the tight burlap, because you will be there forever pulling out really tiny strings. It is possible, but I wouldn't do it. Just use the cheapy burlap. And you always make sure you get it on sale, right? Use your coupons. This, we have a dollar store here in Canada called Dollarama, and they actually sell rolls of burlap for like $3. Okay, so we're done that. So when you're doing the whole roll, it would take you a little bit, but it doesn't take long, because you can see you don't glue in every area. You just want to keep it together like this. So you kind of got like a chain link formation happening right here. Okay, and now I'm going to put it in front of me, lay it in front of me, just like that. And we got all these little loopy things going on. Somebody said Walmart has 6-inch. I know Walmart here in Canada has no crafting supplies. So I know you're not in Canada, so I'm sure Walmart in the States probably does. So we're going to start this off. We're going to put a little bit of glue and just fold it over. Now this is hard to do with these little finger thingies. So just fold it over. The first fold is the hardest. Okay. And now we're going to roll. Now you don't need to roll too tight, and you don't have to, you can put just a thin line of glue. You don't need a ton of glue, and you're just going to roll. Now you're going to make sure the seam is staying on top of each other. So you can see, you just kind of roll it just like that. So if you can follow a line, you can do this. So I just put little beads of glue and just keep rolling. And as you get bigger, as your thing gets bigger, it's easier to do. So that once you get the beginning and you're not pulling it tight, you can just see that I'm kind of rolling it, kind of like a snowball when you're making a snowball. Just roll. And I'll finish this piece because you'll be able to tell where I'm going with when I made the center. And then I'll show you how to cut your strings to keep a full roll of burlap intact, but still pull your string. So I'm just rolling and rolling. Okay, we're almost out the edge. Okay, we're at the edge. So this is how I used to make little flowers, little burlap flowers, really easy for my wreaths. And I'm just going to let this dry for a sec, and then I'm showing you what I'm going to do. Oh, I didn't bring a skewer. Usually I stick a skewer in there. Now I didn't have, none of my loops are really cut. Usually I stick a skewer. Let me see if I can use a pen. Even if you roll a skewer into it. Dave, can you grab me a skewer out of the cutlery drawer? Yeah, you can do craft glue. So what I want to do is I want to spin this. Because when you spin it, it opens up. What were you saying?
Just what you said about craft glue.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aileen's craft glue, yeah. Okay. So if you want to put this on a skewer, so you can put the skewer and roll it, because you can cut this off and you can leave the piece of wood inside the flower if you want. Ah, that didn't work well. Okay, so what I want to do is this didn't work very well, hold on. I'm going to put some glue on the end of this. Now you can just fluff it with your fingers, but it is very easy to do when you use a skewer. Okay, so when you're twirling it, I kind of pushed my center up, but when you twirl it, it actually opens up all these little loops. And helps you form it. Now I kind of pushed my center out, but isn't that really pretty? So this is what I used to make these all the time, like I said, for my wreaths. Just a little wreath attachment things, because they're really easy to do and very, very cheap. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Now that's all I did with the big one, but I used almost a whole roll. I'm pretty sure I used a little bit for something else, but this one would look better if I didn't actually push out. So if you do want to twirl it like me, grab one of the skewers, like a barbecue skewer, and start your rolling. You would start your rolling right here, and then roll with the skewer in there. And then you can cut it off right at the bottom and leave the stick in there. Okay, and then that way you can do your spinning it and open it all up nice. Okay, and that's all there is to making this really, really pretty center. So depending whatever colors you can find in burlap, that's the color centers you can make. Now you'll get sometimes with the bigger ones, you get these, some of them like these, what are these? Loop things. Some will break. That's okay, you just trim off the broken ones. Okay, so now how do you do this on a full roll without cutting it into strips? What you're going to do is, I usually just pull off these end pieces to get So what you're gonna do is, you're gonna, I don't know, about 36 inches. You don't want it too long. You're gonna find an area and you're gonna snip up. I don't know how close Dave is down on the thing, but you're gonna snip in between two of these string striations that are already connected to the burlap edge, and it's sewn in. Okay, so just like that. So we've made a split there, and you don't want to cut the edge. Okay, if you cut the edge, then your roll, you'll have to cut it into pieces. Now you can just keep adding pieces if you want to. You don't have to do a whole roll like this, but once you start pulling, you only have to pull a string from here. So you can do the whole roll in sections, just like this. So I'm pulling out 2 strings at a time. So this is how I spent my Saturday afternoon while I was doing laundry. Watching MasterChef, pulling out burlap strings. Again, if you're working with burlap, please wear a mask. You may look funny, but it will save your breathing, because we are starting to see serious cases of wreathers with COPD and respiratory problems and all kinds of stuff. So you really, even though you think, oh, it's just a craft or whatever, if you do a lot of it, it can affect your health. And you, even though you enjoy it, you don't want to affect your health like that. Okay, so we've done this section. Well, I'd continue on pulling these strings out. And then I would do the same thing here. I'll go along, get my little scissors, and just snip up between 2 of the strings, the striations that are connected to the thing, the sewn side. And now I'm going to start the next section. So you see the pile of strings. This is why I have a box, because you get quite a bit of strings. And you could use these in a scarecrow and stuff too, if you want to save your strings and put it in a scarecrow or something. I don't know. I think the raffia is a little easier, but okay. And then once you're done the whole roll, you can roll it back up again once you're done. Okay, let me just finish this little section, and I'll show you what I mean with the skewer. So it's just another way, simple way. It takes a bit of time, but it's a simple way of making a fun center using burlap. And it's not expensive. You don't need a piece of styrofoam when you put it on, because as you can see, when you do a whole roll, you have a flat part. So we're just going to glue this flat part right onto the board. So no styrofoam or anything. Now you can glue it on a piece of styrofoam, but there's really no need to. Okay, so we're done this section, and I'll quickly show you, and then we'll move on to the flower. Okay, again, I'm going to get my glue gun wherever it went. I think it fell on the floor. It did. Okay, we're just going to glue this over, fold this down. So you're going to go right across again. So you want to do this first, and then once this is all glued down, then start rolling. So don't try and fold over and roll at the same time. It will get you a little bit messed up. It's just much easier to do it like this. And like I said, you don't have to glue. You just glue sporadically. Just like so, okay? And then once you're done your whole roll, so it doesn't take that long, maybe 5-10 minutes to glue the edges together. Then you're gonna take your skewer. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna put some glue. And you're gonna set your skewer onto the glue. Let me get my little fingertip thingies. Okay, and then we're going to put some glue going down. And then you just kind of, now like I said, the beginning is a little bit trickier. But when you have the skewer, I don't know why I didn't show you guys this at the beginning. When you have the skewer, you can just roll and guide it with your hands. And just twirl it. Twirling and making sure your edges are still connected. And we'll just cut it right here. And normally you wouldn't cut it right here because you're going to be doing the whole roll. And twirl. Okay, let it sit. Opening, gotta let it sit for a sec. Glue and burlap love each other. That's why I said you don't really need to use your really good glue with this project. You can just use dollar store glue or whatever, because burlap loves hot glue. And then once you're done, I know it's going to be quite big, but you can just spin it like this, and you can see how it opens up your flower just a little bit better. And look at all that burlap flying around. Even this one's a little cute thing. Look at that. You can put it into a center. Now if I didn't have and with your skewer, and there we go. Okay, so that is the center. Now we are going to move on to the actual flower. We're frozen. The Mevo's still on. Oh, okay. Okay, so again, this is the Scotch Guard. I'll go over it again at the end of the tutorial. I got this on Amazon. I really, really like it so far. It repels water and sun, so it is perfect for any of your projects that you're gonna, put on a door or whatever. Now, throw your wax paper away and you're cleaned up. Voila! Okay. Now, we are going to work on the actual flower wreath. I have partial of mine done. This is on the large board. Voila! I'm just using one ribbon, and I chose Buffalo Check, and I'm going to be putting this red center in it. How fabulous is that going to look? So this is really farmhouse, but I just want to show you how easy it is. And if you're just joining, this is another one I did, and this is a center with a coconut and pom-poms, and this one's done on the small board. I love the large board. It's my favorite board, because if I'm going to make a flower or something, I want people to see it. Okay, I just wanted to show you a few different ways that you can have fun with ribbons, because we all have a gazillion of them, and you can mix and match. You don't have to use one solid color. So I did a little one here. So if you wanted to make a breast cancer, again, you can do this on any of our boards. It doesn't even have to be the flower. You could do it on the tree, the cross, anything. This one, I put a pink, a little bit longer, and then I put a breast cancer ribbon over top of it. So I would continue with that pattern for my whole wreath. So that's one way you can use the ribbons to make a flower wreath. Another way is, look at this beautiful ribbon I got. I think I got this at Old Time Pottery. These are 12 inches long, so I've cut all my ribbons 12 inches. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your zip tie. Now you're going to preload your board, and I'll show you in a second. We are going to preload let's start here. Now you can make it as full or as not full as you want. I say that because this one that I did, I used just every hole on the outer row, okay? The big one I'm doing right now that I'm going to be showing you, I wanted it really big and full, and I used all of them going around row 2. So this is the big board. So the second row right here is 32 pieces of ribbon. And I didn't drill extra holes. I've never ever drilled any holes in my board. I used these are the normal holes. I used the space in between each set of holes as well. So this one, like I said, is 32. And then this row is 16. Row 4 is 16. And row 5 is 4. Okay. Now this one, you can see there's a bit of space compared to how full the outside of this one is. And that's because I only used each hole. I did not use the space in between. So hopefully you guys can see that. The outside is not as full, but it just gives it a different look. You may have to move your ribbons around to make sure you don't see the board. But on the large board, the one I'm going to be doing, there would be a ribbon right here as well. So it's just really full. So it depends on the look that you're going for. So that's why I quickly whipped up this one so you could see. So if you want to screenshot, this is the small board, and this is doing just the normal holes. So you got 16 pieces of ribbon at 12 inch on row 1. Row 2 on the small board, again, is 12 inches. And we have 16 for this one because I did do a ribbon in between the 2 holes. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. Row 3, I just did every hole that's the normal. Again, it all depends what look you want. You may want to use from here to here to give it a fuller look, which I did here. Okay, and I know it's not finished yet. When we finish it, you'll see the difference. And then the inside holes, I used all the sets of holes, so the 4, and then I used in between each set of holes. So this is a total of 8 pieces. So we got, for the small board, doing it this way, you got 16 12-inch pieces, 16 12-inch pieces, 8 12-inch pieces, and 8 12-inch pieces, which is a total of 48 pieces. 48 times 12, honey, do the math. Never mind, I got it. I wrote down the big one. So 48 times 12 inches is 576 inches, and if you divide that by 16, or, pardon? What did you say? 16 inches in a foot. 12 inches in a foot. I'm sorry. See, I'm on the metric system. We're in Canada, so inches kind of screw me up. So we got a total of 576 inches, and we're going to divide that by 12. And that gives you 48 feet. No, that can't be right. How did I screw that up? 48 pieces times 12 is 576. And how many inches in a foot? There's more than 12 inches in a foot, isn't there? Oh.
Then divide by 3 and get yards.
Oh, that's what I wanted, yards, not I want yards, because the ribbon comes in yards. So how many inches in a yard?
36.
Okay, that sounds better. I'm sorry, guys, I totally screwed you guys all up, right? Okay, so you have 48 pieces times 12 inches. That's 576 inches of ribbon divided by 36. You need 16 feet of ribbon. 16 yards of ribbon to make this particular flower.
Why would done it at the beginning of it anyway?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm, like I said, I'm on the metric system here, so so a 50-yard roll, which is this one, and this is a brand new roll. I don't know if you can see that, but I think I could see that looks more than half of a roll.
Is it showing on your tablet?
Nothing's showing on my tablet. It keeps looking at the same picture. Okay, so you're going to preload your board, and depending on how you want to do it,
Sorry, folks.
is it freezing again?
You're back now. You can tell them again with the internet problems.
Sorry guys, we've had internet problems, if you didn't hear me before. One of the fiber wires got cut somewhere in the city, and our internet has been not the same ever since. Okay, so this is preloading the boards. So if you want to do a very full flower ribbon wreath, you will then put a zip tie from this hole to this hole. My hands are all slippery from the burlap. Okay, so you have 3. And you have a big stretch here, and then the normal set of holes, and then another big stretch. And I'm just going to show you quickly on this board. So I'm going to cut these off. Is all one color. I wanted to keep it kind of like that. I could have probably broke it up with some, you know, just black or whatever. So what you want to do is you're going to take your 12-inch piece, and you're just going to fold it and meet the seam, scrunch it in the middle, and you're going to make it just like that. You're going to slide it in your zip tie. Now on the small board, I would slide it into just about the second row. You'll see a line here on the second row. Just slide the tail right in to just before the second row and zip this up. Now you can use, you want to do it tight, so you can use needle nose pliers and wire cutters, or I finally figured out how to use my zip tie gun. and my zip tie gun and myself are now friends again. So what you do is, I'm going to use alternating colors here. So this thing is pretty cool. I did it too hard there. Mine's a bit different than everybody else's. I did get mine from Amazon, but it's very heavy duty, and it took me a while to figure out how to use it. It's metal, it's kind of heavy, but it's really good once you figure it out. Now I'm going to then put this one in. So this is actually how the whole flower goes. And then if you want to put, we'll just do these 3 pieces right here. Now, this one is not a tight fit. So what I've been doing is taking my glue gun and I'm running, now you don't see the glue, and this is just so if somebody grabs the ribbon, it doesn't slide out, because you don't know what the customers are going to do with these. I just go over top with some glue, and that gives me a double security there. Okay, so now I'm just going to start on this one, because you would continue this all the way around that row. So now I'm going to go in, I'll start in here in the middle. So again, I'm putting the tail in about till it hits just about this line in front of it. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how to cut ribbon really fast in a second when we start this next wreath. That wreath I'm actually going to be using. I just want to show you alternating colors or alternating ribbons that you can do. So this can definitely is a recliner chair worthy project. Now this one's really stretched out, so you definitely want some glue, but it just covers the board a little better. And I still partly can't figure out how to use this zip tie gun. Sometimes it is just easier. When your hands get sore, the zip tie gun is good, but now these are going to get smushed, and it's not till the end of the wreath that you go back when you're totally finished, and you'll open up all your ribbons nicely, just like that. I am going to hit this with some glue right across. There we go. Now it's secure in there. It's very pretty with the, now you could do the outside row, one color, then the next row, the gold, and then the next row, this color. There's just so many ways you can do this with the boards now, and your ribbons. So you can start breaking out your ribbons now. Here we go. Some good places to buy ribbons are, Craft Outlet has some nice ribbons. Everywhere has nice ribbons. You can pretty much find ribbons everywhere. But online, I like Craft Outlet. I like Waterman's Loft. I did post a link for Waterman's Loft to purchase your ribbons and stuff, because they have really pretty ribbons. And Deco Exchange, I put their link up. Trendy Tree. And right now, well soon, Costco and Big Lots, and not Big Lots, Sam's, they get in the big, huge 50-yard rolls. I think they're 50 yards or something, which are really, some of them are really, really pretty. And you can do a ribbon flower quite cheap, especially because at Christmas time. So you wouldn't want to use real expensive ribbon. Like this ribbon I'm using right now, I got at Old Time Pottery for $2.99. Look how pretty it is. And it's a 10-yard roll. So I'll probably be able to make, if I did this same flower again, I'd probably be able to make 2 flowers out of one 10-yard roll. Oh shoot, wrong one. Wrong one. That one I already glued in. So I just wanted to show you how the layering of your ribbons looks in a quick view, because the one we're going to be doing tonight is just one ribbon color. So get your pretty ribbons out, because like I said, you can do Christmas trees the same way. You can do, well, of course, the cross I've already did like this. Pretty much anything. And there is just, it's endless with the ribbons that are out there. Okay? So you can see how pretty this flower would be if I just kept continuing. So I would do the 3 here. And look how pretty that is. And then you would go back and just proof these up. Now you can do it like this style too, so you could put a ribbon in behind if you want to get really fancy. So we are going to start the actual one that I did, that I made the red center for. I'll put all these away. I will continue making this flower probably when I get back from Wreath Makers Live, because that's going to be gorgeous with those ribbons. Even this ribbon, look how pretty this one is. And again, this one's up from Old Time Pottery. Now, I went to Old Time Pottery in Illinois. We don't have one anywhere. So I kind of went crazy, but they have a really pretty ribbon, very inexpensive, 10 yards, 2.5 inch. I bought this one. This one's gorgeous. So it's the maple leaf with the buffalo check. So I would use a solid buffalo check and do it every other with this one. You can add 3 ribbons. They got the blues for fall. So it's endless of what you can do. Okay, now let's start this actual project. I showed you little bits and pieces of stuff. Put this way. Now on my outer flower, because I'm using the large board, we have the 8 holes on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can add ribbons there if you'd like, so you can do it the same way. But I had these leaves from a project, so I don't throw anything out. So I used the flowers on this stem, or this bush. Where's the bush? And I never used the leaves. And because I never throw anything out, I'm going to use the leaves just to add a little bit of green color to my flower. I don't know if you guys can see that. See how nice that is? So I have 8 of these, and I just pulled them right off the stem. And I'll show you how easy that is to put on. And I have all my ribbons pre-cut. Okay. This is how much I have left. So these are all the ribbons I'm going to need for the rest of this flower. And I probably can still make a whole nother flower. So that's why I don't know if my math is right or what, but it looks to be that I can make a whole nother flower with this. And this is 50 yards. It's a 50-yard roll. This is actually from Morex. Morex sent me, it's Morex ribbon. They sent me this 50-yard roll as a sample, and I really liked it. So, but you can use any 50-yard. You can use any 10-yard, so, as long as you have enough. So you need 2 rolls of 10-yard. Okay, so to cut your ribbons, I used to use cardboard, pieces of cardboard all the time when I was cutting my ribbons and my mesh and stuff like that. And until recently, the Soul Sisters gave me a really nice set of what's called Perfect Tails. And I must say, I really love them. because I'm not looking around for my cardboard, and they're different colors, so I just have to look for the color now. Kind of like our money, because your US money really screws me up when I'm there. Because it's all the same color. Our money, we just have to look for the color. So it comes in, there's a small pack, it's 10, 9, and 8, and the large pack is 12, 13, and 14. So I thank them very much for it, and I do love them. I have to say, it's something I didn't think I needed until I had, and I do like them. So I do have a link on my Facebook page if you'd like to purchase some as well, and they're not expensive whatsoever. So if you have a 12-inch piece of wood, perfect tails, piece of cardboard, whatever works. I wouldn't, for this project, I wouldn't pull out and measure and cut each ribbon. It's going to take too long. What I do is I take my 12-inch, hold it. I have a ribbon spool holder somewhere, and just wrap it around. So you can count as you're going, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll cut 8 for no. I already have all my ribbons cut, but I'm just going to show you. You're going to cut it, and then cut down the side. Take it off. Cut down the fold. And you now have 8 pieces of ribbon. So to make this wreath, even though the center took us a long time, to construct the whole wreath is going to be, minutes. That's why I said I literally did that small one in half an hour. Cutting the ribbon, everything. And of course I did it in my lap, right? So cardboard, 12 inches. If you want your flower even bigger, you can do your outside row 13 or even 14 inches if you want. You can just play around. So I'm using 12 inches. It worked perfectly for me. And yeah, so you can play around and figure out what sizes you want. So once you got all your ribbons cut, we have already preloaded the board, and I showed you how to do it on the small. So if I flip this over, if you're doing a really full one, you're going to have rows of zip tie going right around each circle. So circle or circumference 2, 3, and 4. This is going to be a big one. But I still only used, looks like half a roll of thing. So I actually used row 2 has 32 pieces of ribbon. Row 3 has 16 pieces of ribbon. Row 4 has 16 pieces of ribbon. And row 5 has 4 pieces of ribbon. Okay, so for a total of 68 pieces of ribbon at 12 inches. I'm not doing the math again because we all know how that happened, how good I am at that math. And I did go and I did half of it, so we're not here forever. And I did glue as I was going. So I did a few rows and hot glued, snipped the tails, and continued on. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. So on the outside row, I am using these green leaves that I just showed you. And to use them, I'm putting my zip tie from the back. If I can find the hole, there we go. And I put it as like an L shape. I'm going to take the middle of this leaf and just put it on the board and zip tie between, just like so, like that. You're going to cut your tail off, have your bucket handy, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, just like that, to hold it. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of these outside green ones. Now you don't have to, your wreath is really big without using them. You don't have to. You can actually even use, if you have some nice green ribbon, you could put a green ribbon on the outside, or you don't have to put any at all. I wasn't going to put any until I seen these in my box, craft box I had up here. And it's like, oh, I forgot about those. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to stick those ones in. So never throw anything out. You just never know when you're going to need it. Right, honey?
Right.
I'm a hoarder. But see, these came in handy. I don't know why I keep reaching around when I'm going to be using my hot glue wad. And I got one more green leaf I have to put in. So it's just going to peek out from our flower, just the green leaves. Okay, done. So that's the green leaves. Now we're going to start putting in our ribbons. And this goes pretty fast. I'm just going to fold these back so you guys can see what I'm doing. So like I said, I preloaded everything. I didn't put extra holes in or anything like that. I just used what the holes are there and hot glue. Even when I'm using mesh, I do the same thing. So you're going to take your 12-inch piece, fold it till the ends meet, put it in your zip tie. Now on the large board, you don't want to put it all the way down to the next circumference line, because there is a bigger space in between each row than there is on the smaller board. So I put it about halfway. So I do quite a few of these and then cut the tails and then glue. And then I move on. And I should be using my zip tie gun because I had it going so well with all these other ones. And then it's almost like I forgot how to use it again, and I only used it like an hour and a half ago. So I know you guys are all like, oh my God, that ribbon I had, will make a beautiful one. I ordered a whole bunch of ribbon from Deco Exchange, velvet, in burgundies, a solid burgundy, a burgundy in gold. Can you imagine how beautiful? And I'm going to use them for crosses. I'm going to use it for flowers. I'm going to use it for trees. And I also bought the red velvet in gold. It's going to be so pretty. So I'm just going and kind of doing a bunch of them. Just zip them all in. And if I was doing this, I wouldn't be doing it at the table. I'd definitely be doing it at my lap. Even though I'm using hot glue. Okay, so I'm going to go and tighten these now. I'm going to try this thing. It does do pretty good because it tightens it pretty good, and then it cuts it. Everybody's got a more of a plasticky looking one. Dave ordered me this one. Of course I had to. He had to order me this heavy duty thing. And it took me forever to figure out how it works. So if you have bad hands, these are pretty good to use. So you don't have to pull, and you only have to use one tool. Oop. There. Okay. Now I'm going to get my glue gun, and I'm just going to go right across, over, and make sure it gets over and onto the board. There we go. Done. Okay, now I'm going to continue on. So even though we have kind of a mesh shortage, there's ribbons. There's always ribbons. And now that you can make ribbon wreaths, the possibilities are literally endless. Okay, try this. I don't know why I have my bucket way over there either. Work smarter, not harder, Laura. These do get a little getting used to, these guns, but I have to admit it's pretty nifty. So as you can see, we're not going to start proofing our ribbons out till the end because they'll just keep getting crushed, pushed down. The frame is a Unique in the Creek large frame, and I just demoed on a small frame as well, but you can do this on any of our frames. So you could do a Christmas tree with Christmas ribbons. You can do the cross with Christmas ribbons. Like, you can pretty much you can do anything. Anything. Okay, we're going to the next row. So I said, once you've got all your stuff prepped, constructing the wreath goes really fast. It's literally sticking ribbons in and zip tying them up. And then if you use a pre-made center, the kinds that you can buy from, you know, the craft stores, Craft Outlet and Trendy Tree and everything, then it's even less time of making it. But I think my burlap rosette is going to look very pretty on this wreath. And when you're using only one ribbon color, then you really don't have to think. Look, I'm getting pretty good at this glue gun thingy, or this zip gun thingy. That one didn't cut very close. One more. There we go. I'll hit that with some glue. This one's a little bit wonky. You really want to make sure that these, the ones that have the long zip ties, that they get the glue, because you don't want them sliding out. But once you glue them, that is in there. You can even pick it up and it's still not going to come out. So, all right, we're almost done. And then we can put the center in and we can stick a fork in it. We're done. So this is the Rachel flower. And Rachel is my son's best friend. They've been best friends since grade 7, I think. And they were best friends through high school, and they're still best friends. And she was my hand model for our labels because I couldn't use my hands because I have a tattoo on my hands. So, and my hands are wrinkly, and she has really pretty hands, and they're young, and they're nicely manicured. So I told her the next flower I come up with, I am going to call it the Rachel flower. And this is the Rachel flower. And this will probably be one of the most popular flowers very soon. I can pretty much guarantee it. And yes, you can definitely use 4-inch as well. You won't have to use as much ribbon if you use 4-inch, obviously, because it will cover, it'll give you more coverage on the board than a 2.5-inch. See, that's what, 10 minutes putting all those ribbons in? wait to get my, now I know my Deco Exchange box is sitting over at my unit in the States. And I also bought some beautiful ribbon from Waterman's Loft when at the Crafters Convention. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to do that, to use those. I just bought some gorgeous angel ribbon today. And it says Amazing Grace on it. I bought that from Ducks in a Row. I pretty much buy ribbon from everywhere. If I could see something, I spot something, I have to have it. And now that I do the Franklin flowers and now the Rachel flower, I will be, I don't even know, I don't think I like to use mesh anymore. Mesh is so hard on your hands, and the ribbon's so nice. Alrighty, we're almost done, almost done. Now I'm only doing these ones here. Oh, wait a second. Now you can do your ribbons, like I said, on the outer edge. You can do them a little longer if you'd like. Once you do a couple of these, you'll figure out the way you like to do them. And I'm sure you guys will find different petals on different ways to do them. And this was just getting your creative juices flowing. That's what I like to do. Okay, we are done constructing the Rachel flower. Okay, let's hit this up with some glue. We don't want these coming out. Okay. Alrighty. So now for the center. The senna, as my southern friends say it. Now, if you're making a smaller center, you would probably want to go from this hole to this hole, this hole, like you'd want to go all the way around as well to make sure you get the coverage. But my center is pretty large that I really didn't need the coverage because it's so, it spreads out so wide. You guys are all like, oh my gosh. I know, me too. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to put some glue. Just make sure these ones are nicely placed before and pulled out before I glue the center, because the rest of them we can fix and fluff out after the center's on. Okay, and I'm literally just going to put a bunch of glue on the edge of my, now you can see I didn't really keep my my seams together very well as I was making this, but it works. Just gonna pump a bunch of glue on there. Alrighty. Stand up to make sure I place it in the center. Hold it down. Even the burlap would have looked pretty. This burlap color would have looked pretty in the center as well. Very farmhouse. I just wanted the red because it pops. And now you're going to go around and you're just going to, I would start fluffing from the center. Just get your 2 fingers and open them up, or your hands. These are pretty big loops. You're going to open them all up, kind of just stand them up a bit, push them forward. Go around and do your whole wreath like that. And that's it to the flower. Like I said, you can do this again on any of our boards. I've already done it once on the cross, and that turned out just beautiful. Now, this kind of flower, or the cross, or tree, or whatever, you're not going to want to put it right out in the weather. So you wouldn't go and hang it on your fence or your gate or anything, because it, you know, it's ribbon. Even if you spray it or whatever, it's still ribbon fabric. But you could hang it on your door, but these would definitely look beautiful over a fireplace or hanging from a mirror. I actually have one, a nice, really cute little wreath hanging from my mirror in my bedroom. It's a big, quite a big mirror, but it looks really, really pretty. And that's all you do is just go around, open these up, make sure the green, okay. Oh, the hanging hole, there's 2 holes on the back. I should have probably did this at the beginning. You're just going to take a zip tie. Now you could use even a piece of red burlap and make a bow, or just a piece of red ribbon if you want to get fancy to make a hanger. I just use zip tie. So you go through one hole, down through the other, and you're making yourself a little hanger. You can use twine, ribbon, anything you want. I always have zip ties handy. And I just did what Damon says not to do. You go to fluff all your ribbons and you flip it over and you squish them all again. But anyways, I am going to leave it there. And you can, hopefully you can see how beautiful it is with our burlap center. Oh, I didn't glue this one. That one just pulled out because I did not glue it. And there's enough room to stick it back in. So you want to make sure, especially those long zip tie pieces, you want to make sure they're glued. There's a whole section here I didn't glue. Just so it doesn't happen, you know, I grabbed the ribbon and of course pulled it right out. But this is your Rachel flower, your ribbon flower. This is the back. So it's nice and neat, no mess. We got our green leaves, our hanging hole, our hanging. Now you could put your sticker logo on there, because anybody that buys this, especially if you're at a craft show or something, will bring it home and their friend will definitely want one. And that person will say, I just bought it at a craft show, I don't know who I bought it from. And if you put a sticker or even tape on your business card to the back of the board, the friend can say, oh, hey friend, this is where I bought it from. You can contact them there, or that's where their Etsy store is, or whatever else. Okay? This is the large board, Unique in the Creek, ribbon flower, which we now know as the Rachel flower. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I know it was a bit long, but we did learn how to do a brand new center and a brand new flower, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out to come watch. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email or PM me. I'll be happy to answer them if I can. All right, friends. Thanks so much, and talk to you soon. Can't wait to see what you guys make. Bye, everybody.